Kevin and Mike are here to give you great news.
Nice.
3, 2, 1.
Do I go on one or two?
3, 2, 1.
0? There's no zero.
Go.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Great News with Kevin and Mike. I'm Kevin Ryder. This is Mike Catherwood.
You got it.
And we focus mainly on stories about people being good.
No, not mainly.
Well,
We focus on positive stuff.
Yeah, positive stuff. Yes. I mean, sometimes there's animals involved, but we find that funny.
But there's no animal harm.
No, of course
no.
not.
Everything about this show should put a smile on your face.
Correct.
Including the intro. The show's about to begin, bro. Yeah. So say hello to the happy, goodbye to the blues, because Kevin and Mike are here to give you great news.
Nice.
Woohoo!
Gave it your all. First story comes from South Africa. I don't know if you saw this story or not. There was a woman in a grocery store named Pick n Pay.
Pick n Pay, okay.
It's a supermarket.
That's not her name. That's the name of the.
That's the name of the place. It's a supermarket in South Africa. And she didn't have a mask.
Okay.
How many times have we seen this? For God's sakes, wear a mask.
How many times has it happened to us?
Even if you don't believe you need a mask, look, society's trying to move on, and it's not going to kill you to wear a mask when you go inside.
Sure.
So this woman didn't have one. A security guard came up to her and said, hey, if you need to put on a mask. And she said, I don't have a mask. Mm-hmm. And he said, well, I'm going to have to kick you out of the store if you don't have a mask, because that's the rule.
Fair enough.
So let's play the video. This is from another person in line at the supermarket. And watch her.
Okay.
She's upset. She can't really check out. Security's saying, I'm going to have to kick you out. And she's like, what do you want me to do? I don't have. Okay, listen. She reaches under her dress.
No way.
Pulls off her thong. Puts her thong on her face. And then she says to the woman, am I good? And they said yes.
Yeah. She has cloth covering her nose and mouth. What can they say?
That person right there is saying, you know what? Good job. Good work. You have a mask. You're good.
I got to agree. Resourceful.
Right?
It lets us know that she's not harboring any type of aroma or disease.
We don't know that.
Maybe she
had COVID and she can't smell anything anymore.
Oh, good point. And she's just a wreck downstairs. It's a debacle down there.
No one else on the planet could have withstood that.
Let me see that
I don't think this song was written with this woman in mind. I'm relatively sure.
Every once in a while, you'll catch like a song or a movie. Look, that's what Bane. A lot of people don't know that's Bane's.
That's his underwear.
That's his. No, it's his scrotal pelt. Yeah. I just put it on. We're the reckoning. But every once in a while, you come across an old song or an old movie or an old TV show, and you go, "Whatever happened to that girl? She's so good. Whatever happened to that guy?
Yeah.
Not with Cisco." Like,
no.
I hear Thong Song, and I'm like, okay.
But it fit for this story.
Hell yeah.
And the great news is resourcefulness or...
No, everything about that is great news.
A thong is great.
If I witnessed that, I wouldn't be able to talk about anything else.
For like a month.
Yeah. So check this out. This is a strange way to get to an unbelievably beautiful story, but it was an Instagram post, and it comes from Humans of Judaism, which is of course everyone's favorite Instagram.
Love it.
I came across this, and I was like blown away. Check this out. Okay, so I'm just gonna have to read this to you. It's a picture of the bon maman. I'm sure
better than I could do.
Jelly. It's a pretty well-known jelly company, high-end French jelly and preserves. So this dude writes, incident in New Jersey supermarket. This is by Michael Perino, okay?
Okay.
At the supermarket today, I found a small elderly woman standing in front of a high shelf holding a Bon Maman preserve. She was having trouble finding the flavor she wanted because the jars were set back far on the shelf. She couldn't read the labels. She could barely reach them. I offered to help. After I handed her the raspberry preserves, she thanked me, paused, and then said, "Do you know why I buy this brand?" I laughed and replied, "Because it tastes good?" "Yes, it tastes good." She paused again. "I'm a Holocaust survivor." Okay, radical transition.
Wow, out of nowhere.
"Yes, it tastes good. I'm a Holocaust survivor." This was not the conversation I was expecting on a Sunday grocery run. During the war, the family that owns this company hid my family in Paris. So now I always buy it. And whenever I go to the store, my grandkids remind me, "Bubby, don't forget to buy the jelly." I told her that was the best reason ever to buy any company's product. And then we both smiled behind our masks and went our separate ways. Someone else on Twitter looked into the story, and indeed, the town that Andros Company, the makers of Bon Maman, comes
What's the name
from,
of it?
Bon Maman,
Okay.
they actually hid and saved Jewish families in World War II. It was called, I'm not even going to
No,
try this
it's
one.
called
Biar sur Serre. I am French is not my thing. Biar sur Serre, which then had about 800 villagers. From an article, you have to understand that what it was like then. There were posters on the walls from the Nazis and from the collaborators, and they said that if you are found to help a Jew, a Freemason, a communist, a socialist, or a pervert, you will be shot on sight.
wow.
Despite the great danger in which helping them put the villagers in, they still kept the children safe. A good reason to buy Bon Maman products. And I couldn't agree more.
How about that?
Think about
How
that.
about that?
Some stuff is so out of this world when it comes to human achievement that you kind of lose sight of it. It's like when you constantly hear about like FIFA soccer players making $300 million. You're like, you kind of almost lose sight of how much money that
Right.
is. You know, when you hear about D-Day or people who hid Jews during the Holocaust, you kind of lose sight of how unbelievably courageous that is. That like you're just
They're
this
risking their lives
you're just
every day.
Parisian guy making jelly, and they're like, "Dude, we need help," and you're like, "Whew, okay, my family and I could be executed pretty easily, but
Let's do it.
I can't sleep at night.
That's-
Let's go.
that's
Get in my
crazy.
basement." I mean, that's really a beautiful thing. So
That's
everyone,
amazing.
please buy Bon Maman.
I'd like us to work on our segues because I started with panties, a thong, and you went right to the Holocaust.
I'm going back to
Maybe go a little softer.
I like the diversity, Kevin, because I'm going back to monkey magic tricks. So go ahead and give me whatever you got.
All right, my next story is about something that we've talked about actually many times, which is people losing their wallets.
Yeah.
And I did this and twice, and I know exactly the relief that it feels like when you get your wallet back and you go, all right, well, listen, my credit cards might be there, they might not,
Yeah.
but at least my ID's there and there's some cash. And when it's all there, you just can't believe your good fortune.
Yeah.
So this video is from a Ring camera,
Okay.
and it's a woman who lost her wallet named Deborah Crosby, and the Ring camera showed the guy bringing her wallet back. Check
Nice.
this out.
When the doorbell rang at Deborah Crosby's Yulee home Saturday night, a special delivery was waiting.
All right, hold up. The reporter, you're going to learn to hate her like I do.
Okay.
It's just unbearable. Okay, continue.
Camera recording.
Stop. Pause.
Hey, how you doing?
Pause. Are you sure? I mean, how hot is she? Because you know
I-
I'll overlook anything.
I haven't seen, but I can't imagine.
Isaac Gonzalez could saw off my parents' legs in front of me and then defecate on my face, and I'd be like, "You're so great. I love you." All right, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
I found your wallet at Walmart.
This man, who Crosby calls her guardian angel, was there with some good news after some bad luck.
I'm like, my God, this person
went out of his way.
Crosby dropped her wallet.
You
in the
hold on.
parking
You stop
lot.
talking. I'm going to do my
Yeah,
part.
let me do my thing.
I know that you lost your wallet and you're going to tell us the story, but I'd rather jump in and tell the story myself. Okay.
River City Walmart in North Jacksonville. She did not realize it until she was checking out. Anxious, as anyone would be, she began to think about what it would take to replace all its contents.
And I'm going to have to replace my military ID, my driver's license. I'm going to have to take off work because they're not open during, hours when I get off.
But as she was driving home, a notification pinged her phone.
Hey, Miss Crosby.
Someone was at her door. Strange, she thought. She wasn't expecting company.
I get there and the wallet along with the credit cards, everything are there.
The man, who did not identify himself, explained he was returning her valuables. It's about a 20-minute drive.
Oh, come
Crosby
on.
thinking he could have turned around at any time.
Concealed it, gave me a message of where he found it. And I thought that is a lot of above and beyond.
Crosby is a science teacher at Yulee Middle School and wants to use her experience as a lesson plan in kindness, an element of generosity no textbook can teach.
He makes me so proud. I have 3 sons of my own, and I hope they would do the exact same thing.
In Nassau County, Robert Bradfield, First Coast News, on your side.
How about that guy? Imagine that.
Simple but amazing. Do you think about
Yes.
he finds it in Walmart. He's like, I'll do good
20
thing."
minutes.
But then he puts in the GPS.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, dude. Come on.
Am I going to be over there next week?
Yeah, and to think he didn't even he found it in a Walmart. He could have easily just taken it to security there,
Yeah.
or the front desk. But good for him, man. That's
But the thing was, she didn't know where she lost it. So even if he returned it to security, maybe she never gets to that point.
yeah, it's true. And ID doesn't typically have like phone numbers. You
No.
know, I guess they could have mailed it. But who? And then now you're trusting a bunch of other people.
No, this dude got in his truck and drove 20 minutes.
Good for him, man.
No
Good for
kidding.
him. I hope he can sleep a little better at night because that's a good solid move. All right. I apologize in advance to anyone who's listening to Great News with Kevin and Mike via audio only. If you're
Okay.
listening to the podcast, because Kevin and I both try our best to provide audio clips as well with the videos, or if it's a completely visual thing, we will read along or do what we can. This one, there's not much you can do. It is so visual. It's completely visual, but it made me smile and laugh, and I watched it 10 times, and so I know it's perfect for Great News. Oftentimes you see animals trying to engage in human stuff, and it's like, oh, that's kind of cute, ha ha ha. Monkeys on a different level.
Yeah.
Okay, they're barely.
They may be above humans.
Guys like you and me. Yeah, for sure. This magician goes to a zoo and does magic tricks for a monkey, and the monkey's reaction, it's
Does
not
the monkey
like,
throw his poo?
you have to watch. It is so funny. The monkey, it's not like these dogs where you do the disappearing act and the dog's like, oh, wait, what happened? My brain doesn't. This monkey is. you
He's
just have
following
to-
along and he knows what's happening?
If you're listening via audio, I highly recommend go to YouTube, check out Great News with Kevin and Mike for this episode because I love this. Check it out. All right, so monkey sees what's in the cup. No way! Look at he's like, oh, it's fantastic. Oh, he's dead. He's like, I can't take it. You blew. This is so fantastic. What entertainment?
So happy.
Puts it back in.
You crazy
He's
guy.
like, check it out. Check it out. Come on. The monkey went. Ah!
That monkey is so happy. Who knew monkeys were the ones that love magic more than anyone?
I like magic. I
I'm sorry?
I like magic and I like puppets.
I like puppets. We're going to have to agree to disagree on magic.
Like every once in a
Like
while.
that was like a magic trick for a second grade.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that, and again, it gets back to my argument that we really shouldn't do the whole like all creatures are equal. It's like, no, we're the best. Like that monkey is functioning at such a high level compared to all other animals on Earth, and it's still my daughters could run circles around it. You know what I'm saying? My daughter would be like, "Well, you just put the cup down." You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
It's not really.
The fact that the monkey was really that entertained was
Belly
really
laughs.
weird.
Even back when we, like 10, 15 years ago on Kevin and Bean, you guys would bring in clips of Chris Angel
Yes.
and make fun of him because he's tremendously douchey. But
He's one of those big magicians that has a show in Vegas. And yeah, he's just the worst.
I mean, look at all the stuff he does outside of his magic tricks makes him ripe to be made fun of.
Yes.
But I would be secretly back in the studio going like, dude, I loved that trick. When he did it, I was like, I was so happy. I was watching on my couch like, yeah, go Chris Angel.
And you didn't speak up?
No, because I was embarrassed.
You should have been. Look at him. Look at him.
He
That
does.
guy is the guy you loved.
I loved his work. I did not love him because he does look like the guy they kicked out of Avenged Sevenfold. They're like, dude, I'm sorry. You're just taking it too far, dude. Come on, seriously.
There are probably going to be stories for months about Texas and the freeze that they just had, and the power went out and the water was unclean and they had to actually boil it to drink it. This is a story about a Texas restaurant that gave out 500 free meals to those in need.
500.
This guy's name is Usafaz, I think. And they only live a half mile. What's that?
I'll get it. I'm just getting a Skype real quick.
I'm very surprised by that. They lived about a half hour from their restaurant,
Okay.
and they were freezing like everybody else. So they say, hey, you know what? Ari says we should go to our restaurant, fire up the pizza oven, and we'll be warm.
Okay.
So that's what they did. The whole family went there and said, let's just get warm for a minute because this is brutal.
Not a bad idea.
And eventually, while they were there in front of the fire pit, they said, you know what? We have a fire pit and we make food and we can give food to people who need it, especially right now when even if they have food, they don't have hot food.
No.
They have really...
No, you're drinking cold soup out of your
Yes.
cupboard. Yeah.
Yes. And it's nasty if it's hot.
Yeah.
So then you're drinking it when it's cold. He estimated that there were 300 cars in their parking lot over the course of one day. And they just started cranking out food, and they put it up on Facebook. And they said, listen, we're here. We have free food. If you need hot food, come to the restaurant and pick it up.
Again, I highly encourage people, obviously, you know, we're not in Texas, but these stories happen all over the place. And
The worse the situation, the more amazing people step up.
right. And this is my take on how capitalism should work. That instead of, you know, making a mess about all the places you shouldn't support, go out of your way if you're anywhere near these people in Texas and make sure their business should be booming from here on out. And we've done, God, since the lockdown started, how many endless stories about restaurants and different retail organizations doing these amazing philanthropic things. I think that's where, when it's all said and done, we make our money.
Yeah,
through the talking,
agreed.
You know?
And this guy, Ari Isufaj,
Okay.
35 years old, knows all about having to rely on the kindness of strangers because when he came to the United States, he was 14, and he was coming from war-torn Kosovo
Not
in Texas. He comes to Texas,
Yeah.
and he says a bunch of people helped him out. He didn't know anyone. A bunch of people helped him out, gave him backpack, gave him supplies.
That's amazing.
Got him on his way. And that's what was in his heart all those years later when Texas was frozen. And he thought, I'm going to give back because I remember how important that was to me.
I'm not an expert when it comes to global warfare and geopolitics and things like that, but I'm pretty safe saying Kosovo in the 90s, not a party.
Not a good place to be.
That was rough. All right, dude. This is so preposterous. Only because of how it plays out. There is a man who at gunpoint robbed some stuff. Okay? There's a robbery going on. The cops take chase after the man on foot.
Right.
But the guy's still armed. And the cops are screaming, gun, gun, gun. And they have, some of the cops have their guns pulled and everything. There is a great grandpa, great grandpa who needs the use of a cane to walk.
So he has to be 85 or above, probably.
This guy and his whole family must have started pumping him out real early because he's like in his late 50s. But he's a great grandpa. Okay. But this guy is gnarly. He saves the day. Check it out.
Caught on video, a brave grandpa trips an armed suspect fleeing cops. Dramatic body camera footage shows police chasing the suspect outside a library in Columbus, Ohio. Just then, a quick-thinking grandfather with a cane literally steps in to
Come
trip the man.
on!
That's the end of that chase. Talk about fancy footwork.
You're lucky got that gun, man. Boy, you almost got shot.
I spoke to the hero grandpa who was at the library with his granddaughter. He wants to be identified as Bill.
You must have known in your mind you had just one opportunity to get this right.
Yeah, I had one opportunity, and I had to make the choice whether or not if I was going to act or if I was going to be a bystander.
Police Commander Scott Hyland was on scene. He says the grandfather's quick thinking may have saved lives, including the suspect's, who was armed with a 9mm pistol loaded with 29 rounds.
It scares me to death what may have been going through that young man's mind. And I fear he, for a split second, had some very ill intentions.
Watch again as we show you the hero's amazing form.
Now-
Just like this scene from the 1998 movie version of The Avengers.
I have to ask, where did you learn that form?
Well, I'm not really sure that there was any technique involved. I just stuck my foot back when I knew he was behind me.
Come on.
But he does balance on that cane.
And that is like, it's part like John Wick, but it's also part like Three Stooges. How casually.
Yeah.
I mean, that was insane. Boop. And he's like, bah. And
the guy's falling down going, what? Did Grandpa just take me out?
You have armed cops screaming at you, and the dude who took you out was like chilling with a cane. And he's like, I'm.
And he's 31 years old. He's
And
a great-great-grandpa.
You know that guy's lying through his teeth when he gets to jail.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, the cops, they converted. The SWAT team came on top of me. They were repelling from
no, you're the guy that got tripped by the old dude.
There you go, man.
All right, that's another episode of Great News. If you love this show, please subscribe to it.
Yes, you should.
Click on the little bell so you get a notification every time we post another episode.
Like stuff.
Like stuff, even if you don't.
Subscribe on all the platforms that you have available to you. And then also, we encourage you to not only tell your friends about Great News so that they can also get a boost in their mood, but let us know of some great news stories. We are constantly getting great news stories from you guys, and it helps out a lot.
And also, if you like any of the stories that we did today, share those stories.
Yes.
With other people.
It's called...
Great News.
And what is that called when you...
Pay it forward.
Paying it forward. Yeah. Woo, woo. Thanks, Kevin.
Would you have sat there all day?
Yeah. Okay. Outro! You know what I'm talking about, bro!
Say hello to the happy goodbyes of the blues. Kevin and Mike are here to give you great news. Harvey Dent, it's your reckoning.
Kevin and Mike are here to give you great news.
Nice.